How's my head always cut off?
It's because I'm short. I feel like my hair already grew a bunch.
That's better. Guess what?
What?
We're back from vacation.
We're back. We're back again. Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yes.
If this were the very top of that bag,
Yeah?
do you think this is enough space? Like from here to here, or do you think it should get shorter?
Like from here to here?
Yeah, like from the top of the
What's your
bag to the
concern?
opening.
I think it's
So
fine.
I started drawing it like that, and I was like, ooh, that's
yeah,
really
that's not
tiny.
enough. That's not enough space.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You think this is good?
It could.
Do you think it get a little
go
shorter?
just like a smidge, but like I'm not upset about that.
Okay.
Like it could go up like
Like an eighth of an inch?
half of the width of the oval.
Yeah.
That was close. What's up? What's up? All right. Sorry, we're discussing design, some small design changes. Your hair looks fantastic.
Thank you. I'm obsessed with it.
Hello from Chile. Hello from Azerbaijan. Hello. You're gold.
Hello.
All right, so we're back. So much has happened since we were gone, and we should talk about it. You got to get over here.
I know. I'm trying to do something, and it's
So the big
kinda
news.
stuck there.
Well, all right. So it's order week. If you missed that,
It's
so
order
that's-
week.
It's time. We're not good at telling people, so
No.
it's now. And the other really big news is our Domestika course just launched on the 1st. So it's up.
And a lot of you have already started
Yeah.
making your bag, and I'm so excited about that. But yeah, the Domestika course is up. Where's the best place for them to get a link?
I mean, we have them in our Instagram profile.
Profile.
Also, I put the trailer on our YouTube, so it's linked in there. It's linked as everywhere, I guess.
Yes. But
Oh, also, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I don't know. But yeah, so it's up. We are actually just watching it for the first time ourselves.
I'm on
which
unit
is
2.
Weird.
I'm entertained.
That's good. I've not watched it. I've only like heard it from across the room because I'm a little nervous to watch it.
No,
But
it's good.
yeah, it's exciting.
We did find one
Small error.
small error that we're in the process of getting fixed.
Yes.
Which
It was just one of the resources that we offer, which is basically a list of linked tools that we suggest using. You don't have to use them. We always suggest that you can buy as locally as possible, but that was missing from the additional resources. So they are adding that in. So if you've started the course and you're like, where is that?
Yeah.
It's coming, and we will let you guys know. I mean, it should be today, right?
Yeah, somebody asked on the forum, and then I investigated. That's when I started watching the course. And yeah, they've been so quick. So we'll see. They'll let us know when it's up, and then we can tell people it's officially on there.
Perfect.
But it'll be in Unit 2. So if you're not in Unit 2 yet,
Don't even
calm
worry
down.
about it. Calm down. Cool your jets.
Anyway, it is really funny to watch because
bet.
obviously we filmed it, but it didn't feel like this. Like it felt like
It felt
a
like
job.
well,
I
no,
guess.
it
Not
felt
in a
like
negative
it was
way.
gonna. No, it felt like it was gonna read stiff.
Yes.
It
And they did
doesn't-
a great job.
Yeah,
of
I mean, I haven't
unstiffenify-
watched it, but you're saying that it's
unstiffening us.
unstiffifying us.
Because like this is so casual. It's not like we don't have like remembering lines for my brain doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I was winging it. Which is probably obvious.
Do.
It was obvious to me in one point. I'm like, why did I say that?
Oh, really? And
Yeah.
watching it back?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Like I know that I like used filler in my brain because like I couldn't think of what I wanted to say, even though it doesn't.
Have you
really
found
matter.
any spots where I sound like that? I bet there's at least
You
one.
sound a little aggressive.
I sound aggressive?
Yeah, you're gonna punch people. No,
For
you
real?
don't.
Oh, it's like, oh no.
Eh.
That's all right.
But yeah, Leanne's currently working on a slight design change for one of our bags. We're getting back. We de-vacationed yesterday, so we're trying to get back into the swing of things, get bags out.
Yes.
And then Leanne's just gonna be off camera the whole time, so I can stand
I'm
here.
sorry.
It'd be weird.
No, I will stop now. I just wanted to get that in there, and then you and I need to talk about this
Okay.
later. I don't think I can do it on these.
All right, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Okay.
So she was well rested.
I was until like the last 3 days.
Yeah, Wes caught a bug, so.
So yeah, we had a really great vacation, a lot of fun with family, just a lot of, I was actually getting like tremendous sleep typically I go to bed around when Wes goes to bed. Like I just say between anywhere from 8 to 10 at night, and I get up at 5 in the morning. That's like my normal 7 days a week. But this, I was going to bed with Wes at like 8 o'clock and getting up with Wes at 7 o'clock.
Snorlax.
And it was really nice. But then Wes got sick and that changed things. So I am running on probably 3 hours of sleep right now. It felt like I was like back at like nursing a baby again,
Don't talk about
because every 2 hours he was coming upstairs and getting us. He's got a terrible sore throat, so it's just been, it's been a rough one. But yeah, we're getting
Way to
through.
bring it down.
Sorry, I love you.
He's getting better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard. Kids don't understand, you know, that they're sick or why or how long it's gonna last. So like, is this my life now forever?
Yeah. Why
No,
is this
it's not.
happening to me? Kind of vibes. So.
What else? What's happening?
Beep boop bop. We did. Oh, there's that new design there. We could, for sure, talk about if you are comfortable. I didn't fully finish it, and it's going to get edited from that version.
Oh, this is something I want to talk about because it comes up every time and it's kind of funny to me, even though it's not funny. So some of the pictures we have, the bags don't have straps on them, just because photographing a strap gets kind of weird sometimes.
Like the mini Bowery, because a lot of our crossbody bags, the crossbody strap is detachable, and the back has top handles, like the mini Bowery. So when we photograph it, a lot of times we photograph it without that crossbody strap on.
To get a closer crop on the actual bag.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think that our bags don't come with a strap.
Yes.
Which I know some companies do that, but that's not what we're trying to do here at all.
We want this bag to be fully functional and wearable the second you get it.
Yeah, they all come with a crossbody, and we also have an additional strap if you want to get that, but
yes,
it comes with a strap.
Yes, it's true.
So.
Okay, on to new things. So number one, we put up a post about attempting to make our mini Bowery in the milled leather, and you guys kind of freaked out and seemed to like it a lot, which I was super psyched about, but also like tiniest bit surprised, but I guess not really in the end. I'm glad you guys are excited about it as we are. There are some modifications that we have to make in doing it. Once I made the mini, so this is it in the milled, which is it's still vegetable tan. It's literally the same leather that we use. It's just milled, which means they like tumble it with rocks.
No, it's just tumbled.
They tumble it. For some reason, I feel like
there's rocks. It goes into a giant rock tumbler, and it comes out a beautiful, shiny new rock.
But you can see it gets that like pebbled texture, and it also softens up the leather a whole lot. So this milled leather I used to make our little Betty wallets and the Sally convertible crossbody wallet. And so it's like a 3 to 4 ounce leather, 3.5 to 4 ounce. And so because this bag is lined, it just got really thick. So you can see, maybe it doesn't look all that thick on there, but in person it feels very thick.
So I weighed it, and it adds about 2.5 ounces to the total bag, which doesn't sound like a lot, but we're trying to get it closer to the regular mini Bowery as possible.
Yeah, as far as weight goes.
As far as weight goes.
The bag is fully lined, so inside it's all leather.
It's all leather.
And the only kind of bigger change, I guess, is the interior pocket is sewn into it. So does that make sense? Rather than riveted in. So typically on this bag in the regular bridle, it's riveted in. You can like where the pocket comes, there's 2 rivets, and then the interior pocket is riveted in that way. So this, I sewed it in, so it's actually creating less bulk on the inside of the bag, which is nice. But anyways, I want to do this bag in the milled. I think we're pretty positive
I've already.
we're doing it.
It's gonna
it's just
eventually
like we
happen.
have to tweak some things to make sure it's going to work perfectly.
Yeah.
So what we've talked to Wicket and Craig and made sure that we can get some thinner milled from them.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi. And so I'm imagining the outside piece would be the same thickness that we currently use, and the lining would be thinner to make it so that this gusset piece isn't so thick right there. And maybe even like the gussets are two thinner pieces of leather. Maybe that's all it really needs. But in order to kind of like make all of that work, I may have to add additional filler between the layers just so that they have the structure that is
I don't
required.
like the word filler.
I know, it's not the right word.
It's like a stiffener.
Stiffener?
Interfacing.
Sure. But yeah, I may have to do
Maybe.
that.
We'll see.
So
I
it's something.
I kind of don't feel like we do, but we'll see. For the larger bags, like you were saying.
Yeah,
maybe.
like if we make this in like the larger size, the big Bowery,
Yeah.
I feel like we would. It's mainly this like top bit where I feel like it feels like a little flimsy that I'm just nervous about, especially if that leather got thinner. Do you know what I mean?
Because even though it's a softer leather, we still want it to keep its shape like the Bowery would anyway.
Right.
And we don't want any surprises there.
And it, like I said, it could be that just these gusset pieces are thinner leather.
True.
And then these stay how they are.
I kind of feel like that makes
might
more sense.
solve it.
Because this isn't
Because this isn't terrible.
Yeah.
Like I think this is fine. Yeah. But I was nervous that if it went thinner, that we would have to put something in there. But maybe it's just that the gussets get thinner. And those are like two thin pieces together rather than like the thick and the thin. Something like that.
The commitment to like the customized color is lots of leather. So we made sure that we could basically get it as many ways and usable ways as possible so we can create most of our designs.
Yes. And so in thinking about this and how much you guys were really excited about it, I did start working on a new design. So I want to show that to you guys now. It is not done. It is not in its final
So it's a little it's a little chunky.
It's not the right
word.
No, it's not the right shape that I wanted. So the idea was, can you grab the Sally for me? My Sally's over there.
Yeah, okay.
It's just laying down.
Taking a nap.
Just taking a little nappy.
10 days, something like that.
So this is our Sally convertible crossbody wallet. So it's a wallet, but it comes with a strap that goes.
Stabilizer out off the seams.
Because the other option we could do would be to purchase a belt sky. But whoa,
Sorry.
are we still there? Do you guys still see us and hear us?
How did I do that?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, we're good. Go, just
Okay.
talk. That was weird.
So you really threw me there.
I just closed the app, it looked like, so sorry.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can still hear us.
I can, everything's fine.
Okay. But I love this bag, but it is a wallet that you can wear. You can't really like throw your sunglasses in there, even though there is a zipper pocket. That was my only thing. It's like I really want to be able to put my sunglasses in this. So I decided to make a larger version that is a full-on crossbody, not a wallet in any way, shape, or form. The thing is I love these proportions. And so when I scaled it up, I did make it a little bit taller, just trying to like make sure everything would fit. And in the end, I'm not as happy with the design because the proportions make it look a little teeny bit boring to me. And so I really love these proportions. And so what I want to do is take what I did and scale it back. So let me show it to you guys. Again, it's not done, but here it is. You can see it's got a nice wide gusset. You can actually fit stuff inside, but you can also see it's a bit proportionately
It's a little tall.
It's a little bit taller than, it's obviously going to be taller, but like there should be a direct diagonal. So I need to cut off like this much of it basically to get the same proportions as the wallet. And so, anyways, let's show you the inside. So the only thing is I haven't finished that one, and I haven't obviously put a strap on it yet. But
So this was one of the ideas that we wanted to launch with the Sally.
Yeah.
But time constraints
made it not
made
possible.
it impossible.
Yeah. So it has. So first of all, it's not fully lined. I lined this as far as I line the Sally. So I do think in doing this, I would for sure be lining the inside of these first two compartments.
Yeah, you would.
The last one I think is fine the way it is, but the first two compartments will get fully lined. So you can see there's a nice front compartment, a nice like bigger compartment, and then a zipper compartment in the back where you'd put like, I don't know, stuff you don't want to lose. I did design it so that if you're someone who has the Sally and you want to use it as your wallet, it fits right inside without any problem. But what we realized is that when you close it, there's such a, here we go. There's such a, like a little bit of this like curve here that there's actually quite a bit of room that I could definitely make it shorter and still get that Sally in there without a problem. Or, yes, Sally. So yeah, that is one of the newer designs that we'll have coming.
So the idea also is to make, like, it's not square, but it's a little bit square right now.
Yeah.
So, like,
If you
taking it down
imagine-
just a touch
Yes.
will, like, give it, like, a nice, obvious shape, I guess, is
Yeah.
a good way to put it.
So what I think
More
I said to you
purposeful
was, yeah, I just felt like it felt a little too straightforward, and I wanted we're very known for our shapes, and I want like the design to come across as it's obviously designed and not just
Circles,
like
squares, triangles.
here's a rectangle for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the idea again would be that it would be a crossbody bag, but you'd be able to adjust that strap and make it a shoulder bag, because I think it'd make a great shoulder bag. And it still has those like very slim, really strong
It feels good.
magnets. It does.
That's what's exciting to me.
Yeah, and I think you guys will
Feel.
love the feel of it too. So, yeah,
So this is one.
one that is coming. And then we've got two more.
So to be super clear, like this kind of stuff for designs we already have will likely be like spring. This is kind of not throwing us through a loop. It was something that we'd been thinking about for a long time, but didn't realize that you guys were that excited about it. So
Yeah.
we are gonna try to get this going for springtime.
Yes, the newer designs.
And then these will be fall.
Yeah, that's the idea, is that these will come in fall.
So likely September.
Yeah, but I have two more I have to do. And some adjustments to some old designs that I want to do. So, figure all that out.
Figure it out.
What else? There's a lot going on.
There is. Yes.
Someone said something over there.
Someone talked. When you do your edge paint, do you? Oh, we have edge paint to talk about, kind of.
Yeah.
Do you have to take into account the bend of the leather, like you do closing the flap?
No.
So this person is basically asking you, like, do you have to
Sorry, our dryer's going. Or washer.
consider like the curve?
Yeah.
So like, this is painted. The flat parts are painted first, basically. So like, all of these before it's sewn,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then these are painted afterwards. And the edge paint's like
It's
flexible anyway.
Yeah, it's meant to be flexible. It should not crack.
Sorry, I wasn't getting to the point. So no, you don't have to really consider that.
No, as long as you do a very good job burnishing your edges, you shouldn't have to worry about
Yeah.
that.
And heatable edge paint is flexible, and it's meant to last a long time. That's why we use it.
Yeah.
And we're currently in the process of, I forgot to.
Correspond with them. Because
No.
did we get anything from them yet?
No, I have the samples of it. We're getting samples of edge
Oh.
paint to figure out
Oh, right.
some custom colors.
Yes.
Sorry, like my brain's doing a lot of things right now.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Same. Whoop. Bye. So, yeah. Things are coming. Things are happening. Washer sounds like a small plane. Yes, it does.
So
It
I have
might
to
take
remove olive, right? And natural.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have enough edge paint to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think. What else? So, yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I hope you guys are too. Again, it will be, if you imagine it more like that. So I just think like it would be a really cool shoulder bag and crossbody bag. You know. So that's coming. That's for fall time. And we're thinking like taking some of the designs that we already have and making them in milled will come in the springtime. As far as those designs go, I'm imagining the mini Bowery, the big Bowery. I'd love to try doing the Shelby in the milled. I think that could be really cool. I'm trying to think. Possibly like the Greta, Phoebe, that sort of thing. We'll have to kind of pick through and see what makes the most sense to do in that leather. But are we allowed to show the final bag for Domestika? I'm not going to do that without you, but
Yeah, you can.
okay.
Hold on.
Okay. But, oh, sorry. Okay. What type of edge paint do you use? So we use Furnace for the most part, and we also use Uniters right now. So right now we're just kind of working. We've had a little bit of a hard time getting consistency. And so we're just trying to like work that out as far as like consistently getting in the paint that we need. And so the people who were doing our custom colors before seems like they're not going to do them anymore. So now we're trying to figure everything out, and we'd love to just get it all from one place, make it a little bit more streamlined. So we're working on that. But Furnace is my absolute favorite. The edge paint's just really good. The consistency is really good too. It's easy to work with. Yeah. Anyways, if you guys have questions, please just know that this is the best place to ask questions because we can answer them live. Other people can see your questions and all that stuff and get the same answers. Of course, we answer questions in DMs and comments all the time, but we love it when you guys ask questions on here. Just it makes it more fun. So, yes. Has left me astray. And I will show you guys the bag that you can create in the course once he gets back. So do you guys have any questions I can answer? Right now I'm working on 3 big Shelbys. One in natural, one in black, and one in olive. And then, yeah, we've got a ton of Charlottes to get done, all kinds of stuff. I'm really sorry that our washer is extraordinarily loud today. It's because of someone putting things on top of it. I bought the course and I love it. Yay! Oh, that's so awesome to hear. Yay. There is, I don't know if you were here for the whole live, but there is an additional resource that is missing right now in the course, but they are working as we speak to get it on there. So just so you know, I think it's in the second.
Right. Sorry, I made a mistake and had some we can't produce olive and natural right now because we're missing edge paint.
We can produce the ones that were already ordered.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just double checking.
Yeah.
So they're not available anymore on the site.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That's what happens when you try to do stuff when you're on vacation.
Yeah.
And on a laptop, not on your regular workspace.
Can you give her a little dusting?
Right. I did already.
Yeah, you did. Okay, so the bag, we are finally allowed to show you guys the bag that you can make by doing the course. And we're going to show it to you.
So we didn't make a full bag before we left, right? Yeah, we did, because we have pictures.
Yes. No, I finished one before we
Yeah.
left.
So the way the course basically worked when filming, we had to have different stages of the bag ready. So we had one made before we left, and then we made
Like 5 versions.
Yeah,
It was
like
basically kind of like a cooking show
2
where it's
complete
like,
bags.
and now it's done.
So anyway,
So yeah, I had to have like different stages of the bag done so that they weren't just sitting there for hours watching me
Watching us work.
hand stitch.
Okay.
Because the course is all hand sewn. It's not machined. So this is the bag that you get to make.
so I don't know if you can tell, but that's all hand stitched. This is the one we made before leaving, and then
Yeah.
we donated the other one to Domestika,
The other finished one.
the other
yeah,
finished one.
for their like
So as you can tell,
gallery.
we tried to get it like as close as possible to like what we normally do with the sewing machine.
yeah.
But this is all hand done.
Yep. And the reason we chose to make this bag,
You can hold it up now.
yes, is because we wanted the course to be something that was good for both beginners and intermediate. One of the biggest questions that we've gotten since being on here and sharing what we do is how to get a really good curved gusset, because you can see like that curved gusset, you don't have any like
Why is that
bubbling.
so loud?
It's because you have things on top of it.
Oh,
There's no like gathering or bubbling or any of that jazz. And so that's one of like the main questions we get. And so I definitely wanted to do some sort of bag that involved using a curve. I also wanted to show the different methods that I use when cutting a curve, because I know that can be incredibly difficult for people and kind of like nerve-wracking. So we have those 2 things in there. And then we go into a lot of depth on like leather choice and different types of leathers and all this sort of thing, as well as like our personal history, like how we got started, which you guys have heard that story, but we really went in depth, and like things that inspire us and things like that.
it's hard to hear over the airplane.
Oh no.
I just tried.
I shouldn't have started it.
I know.
You shouldn't have put stuff on top of it.
That wasn't the problem.
It really wasn't. Why is it so loud?
It was stuff right next to it.
Oh,
Hopefully that's better.
it's really hard. Okay, hopefully you guys can hear us better. Okay.
Can I pause it? Is that possible?
No.
No.
How many minutes is left on it?
10.
Oh, wait.
Indoor. All right. So there's a lot of questions going on. You can finish your thought. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
How many orders do you get in a month? It really depends on the month. I think we maxed out in the 60s.
60s, yeah.
Uh,
That's like the most I can produce within 6 weeks.
yeah, within a reasonable time.
Yeah.
I remember on the past live you mentioned that you wouldn't use chrome tan. I believe something about the chemicals and environmental hazards.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to chat more about that, please? I'm switching to veg tan because of hearing that. So thank you. Yeah. So chromium tan is the other main option, and it uses chromium salts in tanning
In the
process.
tanning process, yeah.
It's more harsh. It's abrasive, and it's generally just harmful for the environment.
Yeah, so if I was gonna buy chrome tan leather, I'd probably buy it from either the United States
Yeah, like a Horween.
or Italy.
And
Those
it's-
2 places have very high standards when it comes to their water, because those chemicals will get dumped back into the water. And so but those places also have water treatment plants that clean the water and all that good stuff. So, but like there are certain other countries I definitely would not be buying chrome tan from if that is something that you wanted to do. However, I just like the idea of just never working with that harsh chemical. Also for the workers that are working around those chemicals, I can't imagine that's a great thing to be working around. And so veg tan, the other thing about it is it's typically more stiff when it starts. Like if you imagine a really good pair of shoes, it's stiff and it breaks in over time. It's the leather that like your grandparents had. It's also gonna last way longer. So literally a bag from your grandma or your great grandmother who's a veg tan leather, can get passed down from generation to generation. It'll patina over time, it'll soften up over time, it'll also kind of even get like sun baked and that sort of thing if you're starting with a really light leather. What else? The reason I also love it is just that I like that it starts out stiffer, because it helps to provide more structure to the bags that we create.
And veg tan is biodegradable too.
Yes,
so.
That's the other thing. It's fully biodegradable. It's also why we choose the hardware that we use. It's all solid brass. Brass is a material that can be melted down and reused and reused and reused. So any sort of waste in making a piece of hardware just gets melted back in and makes more.
Just to fill spare time, do you make products like 10 and 20 at once? Or piece by piece? So there's no such thing as spare time.
Yeah.
We batch basically based on the orders we get and then send them out.
Yeah. It used to be that way.
It used to be a little different, yeah, but...
Yeah, there used to be a time where I had like a little bit of extra time, and basically when we would get an order of like, let's say, 2 of the same bag in the same color, I would make 3, that sort of thing.
Do you have a problem with the strap rubbing the paint off?
No.
So, like, we've gotten back bags that are several years old for, like, some minor repairs, and
That's never been
it's
anything
never been an
I've
issue.
seen.
The only time I think I've ever seen it is on, like, a sharper corner. But, like, and it's not, like, I don't know, it's not, like, rubbed off completely. It's just, like, I don't know, scraped a little
Yeah.
from somebody, like, dragging it across something.
Yeah, like something rough, probably.
But no, we don't see that. Also, is colored veg tan made in a different process, like non-chemicals? Sorry if that's a silly question.
That's
Still
not
learning.
silly.
No, so it's like tannins. So tannins come from barks. You probably are used to hearing about tannins in like grapes for wine, and that's what gives it like the color. So if you can, it's like mixing colors to get color, tannins to get color.
Right. When we were so we got to visit our tannery, Wicket and Craig, a few months back, and when we were there, we saw like the big vats of tannins and the things that they get in to make the different colors. So.
And then they have other processes too, like post dyeing that can change the color too. Like they can add basically like an oil on the outside, which gives it a whole different look. They could glaze it like a harness to give it a shinier look. There's all sorts of ways to get different colors.
That glazing machine is crazy.
It used to be very, very, very limited. It used to be brown and shades of brown
and black.
and black.
Yeah.
But
now they've really expanded
Figured
their
it out.
capabilities. And we are hoping at some point, we were actually just talking about it this morning, of potentially doing some custom colors in the future. You missed it.
Okay. All right. I probably missed some things because a lot was happening just there. Whew. All right. That's good.
It's good.
Everything's gone. Everything on my brain is gone.
It's all left you. I'm excited about the new designs that we're going to be doing. I'm very excited to work on them.
Getting like all the sounds.
I know. Sorry, guys. I will not run the
How
washing
often
machine.
do you get material from your tannery? It's like as we need it. They usually takes about 2 weeks-ish to get it from the tannery. So
It doesn't take 2 weeks to tan, though, just
No.
FYI. It takes 6 weeks?
takes several months.
Yeah.
We also order from Buckle Guy, and then they can ship much faster.
Yeah, so we basically order from both, straight from the tannery and also from Buckle Guy, because they keep the same leather in stock.
Yeah.
So depending on our situation, we may order from one or the other.
And the tannery can finish it to your specifications.
Right.
If that helps you. And there's some things we can get from one but not the other, and vice versa. So we kind of, get them from both.
Oh, also with the new designs coming, so we obviously showed you that one already. The other 2, I think I'm going to be doing in just like the regular bridal leather, with the idea of doing them in milled come springtime, if that makes sense.
does it make sense?
I don't know. Does anything make sense anymore?
When you order direct from the tannery, do you usually have a minimum order? So Wick and Craig is a one hide order, so you can't get panels from them, but you can get a single hide.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which a lot of tanneries, I don't think.
And that's typically 24, 25 square feet.
Yes.
So that can last you a long time if you're doing wallets, or it can be just a few bags.
There were some things in there. I think.
I don't think so.
Oh, there was.
I don't know. Somebody's commenting with some weird stuff.
Oh, fun.
Stop being weird. Yeah, you can order one from them. You can order like as many as you want.
If you want to just do a panel, you can order from Buckle Guy. They
Have
that.
panels in small size if you want to just try it out. You can also get sample squares.
Yes. Uh-oh. They keep calling
Great.
me.
You probably lost them.
Oh, fun times.
We forgot to put it on silent
Yeah.
or like last time.
Oh, I think it's back. Can you guys hear us?
Do you get your thread also from Buckle Guy? We do now.
Yes,
we
we
have
just started.
Minimo and we have Dunmore, which is from Buckle Guy, and it's really good.
Yeah. Love the Dunmore stuff.
The only one we're not 100% on is the olive.
Moderators for the live.
I know, we
That would be good. How do we do
pay
that?
someone to sit over there in the sound booth or something.
Don't think that's how it works.
Someone to keep us on track. Shut up and stop talking about that. Talk about the other thing.
There's a question in that little question box. I don't know. Can I click on it?
What's the best way to store leather for long term?
That's a good question.
We typically try to have it in our workshop the least amount of time possible.
Yeah.
That's just like my personal
But
feelings.
I would say there's two good ways to store it as far as like physically goes. We tend to store ours rolled up and leave it in the box.
Yeah.
You don't want light hitting your leather, especially if you're working with veg, because it does patina with being out in the sun and that sort of things. So yeah, you can keep it in there. The other option is to build or have something to like lay the hide over so that it's kind of draped over something.
It's quiet.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we keep it in the box as long as possible, and then if we order, just say like 5, and once I open it, I roll each one up, and then my personal thing is when I cut into it, I then wrap it the other way, so I know that that's been used, and I can continue using that one and go through it like chronologically.
The other thing is you really want to keep it in a dry place.
Yes.
Not a place that's going to get overly humid. So like obviously we're in
No mold.
a basement, so you kind of think like, oh, that's not a great idea. We have a humidifier going all the time.
Dehumidifier.
That's it. Dehumidifier. And
We finally got off the plane, guys.
you're off. We have, is it called
That was intense.
deboarded or something?
Yeah.
That's
Deplaned.
rough. Deplaned. But yeah, you definitely want it out of the light and out of any sort of moisture, or out of any like extreme temperatures.
Yeah.
If you can.
We meant to visit Buckle Guy on
Yes,
the way
on
because
our
we
vacation.
were headed towards New England, and it just didn't work out because we were heading up there on the weekend
And they're closed
they
on
were
the weekend.
closed. So and the timing on the way back, or the timing on the way back wouldn't have worked either.
Well, plus we were going a different direction.
Yeah, but like from here to there would have added
another like,
several hours.
Yeah, so we
which
didn't make that happen.
We'll-
But I'm
make
sure we'll
another-
do it
We'll
a
make an
different
actual
time.
trip there.
Yeah. Wonder how far it would be from the cabin.
I think the best way is just to
Go
go from
there.
here,
Makes sense.
because otherwise you're just going out of the way to go out of the way.
Yeah. I'm just thinking if we were staying there for a week, it'd be like a thing to do.
It's not that close.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. Now it's weirdly silent.
Yeah. The plane has left. My back is killing me. Just getting old.
What else you got?
I don't know.
Bye.
See ya. What brand of zippers do you use? I see that Buckle Guy doesn't sell YKK.
We use YKK.
We use YKK. We get them from Wawak usually, right?
Yeah, we were getting them direct, and then now we do Wawak.
Yeah, they ship crazy fast. I think they have
It's
a
'cause of how
distribution
close we are
center.
to them.
Yeah, it's like same day practically.
Yeah, I think
Next day.
Riri is another brand that's well known,
Mhm.
and YKK. They're both nice.
Yeah.
And they're brass toothed, tooth.
They have
Tooth.
brass
They have
teeth.
brass teeth, and we like that. How's the heat been?
So we kind of like
We went
missed a lot
north
of it.
and missed
so
Our plants aren't happy, so we have to give them water.
yes,
Lots of water.
my hydrangea is looking a little sad.
Wawak's amazing. My spouse and I use them a lot for sewing supplies. Yeah, they're great
Yes.
for They're great for sewing stuff.
Yeah, they mostly do like fabric, not leather stuff, but oh yeah, all of our weights are from
That's
them.
where we get these irons.
Yeah, they're the best. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I think this was the first thing we bought from them,
Yes.
and I was like expecting it to
Shocked.
take a long time because they're heavy. And it got there like I ordered it
It
like
was
that night,
the
and it came the
next
next
day.
day, and I was like, "What's going on?
Yeah, it was very
Is
bizarre.
everyone okay?" But I think their distribution point is like really close to us.
Yeah,
so
it must be.
we win in that regard.
Yeah.
Just putting all the bags away.
I pulled them all out.
Yeah, so we're excited. Our Domestika course launched. We filmed it last October. So
Yeah.
it's funny, like, not that the stuff on there is outdated in any way. It's just like that feels almost like a lifetime ago for our business.
It does.
So much has changed for us. Like, we got another, like, we did a studio tour for them, and I watched it, and I'm like laughing to myself because
So we just have one machine in there.
we have one machine.
Yeah.
Now we have two. Like even just the setup.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yep.
But it's great. So Leanne has a bunch of mini shelbies to do in a row.
Mini shelbies. No, big shelbies. That's what I'm working on. Those
Oh.
are big shelbies.
Those are okay.
I did all the mini shelbies, I think.
Okay.
Before,
I trust you. I believe
before
you.
we left. Yeah.
Um,
This is the last of everything. And then I have to do the new stuff.
what are you doing?
No one knows.
Yeah, I wish we knew. Someone got to help us out. Is that it? Is that everything?
I think so. I'm kind of thinking maybe it'd be good to make this a slightly shorter live just because
Yeah.
we have a lot to get done.
Just another. So we're not going to be able to have Olive and Natural up because we ran out of edge paint. If you place an order for them, we have you covered, but we can't take on any additional.
Until we work out our edge paint situation.
Yeah, until because we have to get it custom made. Because the place we were getting from, I guess, no longer custom makes colors. So
Yes.
we're in the process of talking to a couple companies, and we have samples coming to make sure that we're getting it to be exactly the same color-wise and viscosity and all that stuff.
Yes.
And it's a little bit longer of a process than just like purchasing from someone who has it like in stock. So that might take us a couple months, which is not ideal. It's not what we want, but
No.
that's where we are.
We are planning to do a photo shoot very soon.
Tell me about it.
I was so excited when I got a message from my friend Sarah over at Potter's Daughter. She just came out with, I think she's got more than what I have, but a few different tops and dresses. And she made this round of things all from dead stock material. So if you don't know what dead stock is, it's any fabric that's left over from, let's say, a bigger company like, I don't know, Gucci or something.
Of course, you're from the United States.
Um,
All right.
So anyways, imagine a designer makes a run of clothes and there's leftover fabric. So that leftover fabric typically goes into the trash. But there are places that will take on that dead stock and sell it off. And so Sarah has gone through and picked out a bunch of dead stock and made these beautiful dresses and tops. And so she and I are going to be working together. She just sent me a top and a dress, and I tried them on this morning, and I'm fully obsessed with them. They fit perfectly, and the material that is so nice. And so we're planning to do a photo shoot super soon. I'm hoping to do it this weekend. I think we just got to keep an eye on the weather and that sort of thing. Just trying to pick that ideal day where you get the right sunlight, it's not too incredibly scorchingly hot, and that hopefully someone can watch Wes for us so we don't have to be chasing a 5-year-old around while we take photos. Although he is getting better at that, so maybe he can come this time. But yeah, so that is another thing to look forward to. We'll be doing that photo shoot hopefully pretty soon. Nick has left me again. I don't know where he went. What are you doing?
Somebody asked earlier how we're feeling about like the holiday season and like consumer sentiment. And a couple of things. Like for us, like if you think about things in quarters, I feel like for us, like we'll just take the quarter for the summer. I feel like it always evens out, but like the money's just in different months. So like, you know, so say we have a strong June, then July's down, and like
in the summer, like the
May's
end
even,
of
like it just kind of switches itself around.
yeah.
And then it's kind of the same for the holiday. We try to get orders in. We're still kind of discussing when we're going to have cutoff because this is a new way to do orders for us.
Right, and trying to figure out what makes sense and what's going to be able to get done. So.
But yeah, like December's usually not super strong because we're not really open. And then it depends largely on our cutoff date.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's tough. I think I still think that people are buying things that mean a lot to them, and they're buying things that they want to support over just being mindlessly like consumery, if that makes sense. And I think people have just reevaluated their purchasing, and they're choosing to vote with their dollar where they want to who they want to support, right? So it can be tough.
This person asked, do you use your products also in your private life? And definitely, every day. I used to wear the Charlotte sling bag every single day. That was my go-to bag for a long time. Now I've switched over to the mini Shelby, and then I use the Betty wallet every single day as well. So those are my like 3, I think, kind of go-tos, but I've used all of the designs.
July's always the slowest month of the year for us. Not sure why. August tends to get a little busy. Then September through March is nonstop. It's weird.
Yes,
that's similar
that
to
is
how
very similar to ours
goes.
Yes.
January always punches us in the face, and we don't really understand why.
Because I feel like a lot of other makers feel like January is super slow, but for us, January tends to be like crazy busy. January, February, March are our busiest times. I agree. I think July. It's like between June, July, and August.
Yeah,
one of those months
is like
is slow. Yeah, and then the other 2 are like decent.
Yeah.
And then I'd say September it kind of comes back and really ramps up in January. Yeah.
I think we
do tend to launch our new colors or designs in spring.
Yeah. That doesn't explain January, but
correct. I don't know what it is. That's just what happens.
The other thing is like customers aren't like some people do buy our our things, our products, our bags as gifts, but typically I feel like people are purchasing for themselves or somebody very close to them. Yeah. So it's not something that's gifted as heavily. Like so our holiday season is just I think a little bit different than most.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
How did you get into leatherworking? BTW ? By the way.
This is probably our number 1 asked question, but basically a friend of ours was working in a shoe store. Nick and I went to art school. That's how we met, and we were living together at the time. A friend of ours working in a shoe store, they had this window display of vintage leather hides in the window. He happened to be there the day that they were taking it the display team came in to take it down, and he asked them, like, what do you guys do with all of that after you take it down when you do a window display? And they were like, oh, we just throw it out in the dumpster out back. And so he was like, whoa, well, can I have it? Because I feel like I know some people who could maybe do something with that. So because we went to art school, even though we went for illustration, our friends and family know that we're very creative people. We're always making things. I was sewing before we ever started making bags. And so basically our friend showed up at our apartment with like a trunk full of vintage leather hides. Those hides stayed with us for a while. They moved with us from our apartment to our first home that we purchased, and there is when we started Hemlock and Hide. And it happened to be that like I had taken 2 weeks off of my job. I was an art director at a textiles company.
This is a great question.
Oh.
Do you find that people are super receptive to initial launches, or does it take some time for people to get acquainted to designs before they purchase?
That
So
is really good.
in our experience, like the pre-orders and launches are like 50-50. They're like 50% new people,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
50%
Yeah. Current customers.
current customers.
Who own our bags. Yeah.
So that's super interesting to me. And then, yes. And then like it depends on the design. So some designs slow roll like and go up.
Yeah.
Some designs are like
It depends on the design.
seasonality and
Yeah, I think some of it's seasonality. Some of it is because I worked in fashion and textiles. I sometimes will.
she designs ahead.
I'm
makes
designing ahead because I'm always looking at fashion, consuming what's new and coming down the runway and all that jazz. And so sometimes I think our customers just take a little time to get used to a new idea or that sort of thing. But I would say for the most part, when we launch something new, it tends to do off the bat like good.
No, it does.
But I'd say, over time they tend to do better and better.
Almost every design we've launched like does good, and then we have to like forget that happened, and then see how it lands when it comes back.
Right. And so one thing that we kind of have implemented for the most part, except for like a few designs that were like, no, we're just going to get these dyes made now, is we would put a design into production without having any dyes made. Dyes are like basically giant cookie cutters of our pattern pieces that we put in a press and just pop the...
This was a Daniel question.
I know that, but there's
Okay.
other people listening
There are
besides
other people.
Daniel.
I'm only speaking to Daniel.
Well, you can have a private conversation if you like separately. But so we would launch a bag without having dyes made. I would hand cut anything that was ordered, and then we'd give that bag a year to see how it does before we put the money into buying dyes because they're really expensive. I'd say
It's a cost that you need to definitely consider, especially when you're starting to make your bag.
Yeah.
Like that's also part of the tricky part with some of the milled stuff might require a different dye, even though it doesn't seem like it might.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and that's something that I've been thinking a lot about. But, but yeah, so I'd say more recently, we're more quick to order dyes than we have been in the past.
And it's just like kind of like your social media content. Like the things you're like, man, this is gonna be awesome, falls flat, and the things that don't, that you're like, man, no one's gonna buy this, and it goes really well.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a surprise there too, which is the fun part, right? You never know. But it's funny. I think, like to me specifically, the Charlotte took some time for people to get into it, and now it's like a really great selling bag.
It's up there.
And the mini Bowery too, actually.
Yeah, I think it did
didn't really take off until the Bowery and the mini Bowery were together.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden it's just like.
Yeah, that's true. To wrap up really quick,
Oh.
the question about how we got started. So we're in our new home. The leather traveled with us. I had taken off 2 weeks or a week or something like that of work so that I could do some work on the house before Christmas started, something like that. And whatever I needed to do that job was back ordered. And so I was kind of left with all this time on my hands and nothing to do. And I'm not the type of person that can sit around and do nothing for the most part. And so I was like, oh, we have all that leather. Maybe I should try making something out of it. And so I had this idea to make a catch-all type bowl that you would put by the front door, throw your keys in, that sort of thing. And I liked the idea of combining vintage fabrics with leather. And so I hand-stitched these leather bowls with, I think the inside was it was either a vintage bandana or shearling. I can't remember because we did. Maybe it was mudcloth. I don't remember. One of those three is what we did for the first like few. So I made that. Nick saw those and I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to try making something. Meanwhile, I had never seen him sew before ever. And so I watched him sew and he did a good job. And he kind of looked at me and was just like, I really feel like we can make a business out of this. And kind of just went from there. Business.
Ballpark cost for mini Bowery and milled. Ooh,
Have you priced it
I
out?
haven't. That's fine. Ooh, ballpark.
It's a good question. It will be
don't
more
know.
expensive.
Well,
That's
that's clear.
yes.
It's gonna be. It'll be. This isn't really gonna help anyone, but it's gonna be less than double the cost. We have to figure out like a little bit of how long it's gonna take. There's still a little bit. We're talking. There's a couple tweaks we still have to do.
Design tweaks.
I basically just measured like the square inch of leather we have and combined that with our overhead. So I don't have like a really solid answer for you right now. Yeah. It's just tough because it doubles like a costly material. So
Yeah. Sorry, I wish we did have a better answer for that. Oh, bless you.
it's definitely going to be like we're definitely thinking of adding like a premium level to our branding.
Right.
So it's going to be incorporated with that.
Yeah.
I like my hand movements.
Always with gestures.
Less than double is good to know. Okay.
Okay, that's at least helpful.
Yeah, it's not going to be like $3,000.
Fully, yeah. Fully
We're not
doubled.
trying to do that. We still need to be reasonable with what we're doing. I think one of the cool things about being a small business is you get to have.
Give it spray.
I did this morning. If you want, so you can have more.
9. Yeah, honey.
One of the cool things about being like a small
You can
business
have
is
spray.
we get to
Okay.
make things of like higher
Do you
quality,
want to try one of the
with higher quality
lollipops?
materials, and get to
What?
do that
No.
without.
Did you have breakfast?
Because like a
Yes?
big company is just gonna.
Oh, how'd you
exploit
do?
That, right?
Pretty good. You ate some of the food bar? Did you have a yogurt or no?
So like our bags would easily have an extra 0 on them if they were made
Let's
by
do some
like a
spray.
large company.
Do you
What
feel,
is a
I know your
decent
throat is
wholesale
hurting,
price
but do you feel
structure?
like
50,
overall you're
60?
feeling just like a tiny bit better though?
I
Yeah?
mean,
Good. We're
cost
on the way.
pricing
We're on
always
our way.
depends on
What is
what
that?
your costs
Oh,
are
that's a microphone.
and what is
I really
sustaining your
just realized
business,
everyone
what
can
your
hear what I'm
overheads are.
saying to you.
It really does depend on your item. Like if you
Can
can
you
like
hold on for 1
wallets
second,
can
buddy?
be pretty good for margin. So like small wallets, if you can get a lot out of your leather and your yield out of
Can
your
I
leather is
leave?
really strong, you
Just
can.
had a full conversation with Wes on a microphone.
What? Oh.
I didn't.
You heard Leanne and Wes talking upstairs.
I still have to do this.
I hope
right.
it
I
wasn't
just didn't
something
want to
weird.
like. I don't think so.
It doesn't matter. It's life. Yeah, it really depends on what you're doing. It depends on what the business you're partnering with wants also. So like, typically, your actual costs times 2 is your cost, and then that times 2 is usually wholesale, and then that times 2 is retail, if that makes sense. That's like a really basic idea. But yeah, that's why partnering, you can do things on like consignment, you can do things with small boutiques that might be able to help you. So, yeah, wholesale is a whole different animal. And then like, is it wholesale for like private label? Is it wholesale for, like each of those customers is gonna have different needs. Like usually somebody who wants something for like a gift for like a corporate event is gonna want like the cheapest cost possible because they're trying to get like this for thousands of people. So it also depends on your capabilities to make those things and what your capabilities tell you about pricing. Sorry, that was long-winded. And I gave you 0 answers. One of the things we realized quickly was that if we wanted to maintain like lower pricing and quality materials, that wholesale really wasn't for us. Because we tried putting a couple things in stores, and actually, so one of the first lessons we learned was we used to make keychains, and our hardware wasn't cheap. It was like $7 or $8 for the clasp, and then we were only charging like $20 for the actual keychain, and then that didn't include the ring, didn't include the leather cost and time. So we were just like, wait a second, this isn't really going to work out, because we ended up losing like $2 on each keychain because we priced wrong, and we all make mistakes. So we changed it, and like the volume of that went way down, which is fine because like it was basically underpriced, which makes sense why it was moving. So you have to find that sweet spot.
Capabilities influencing pricing is pro level content.
Yeah. Well, like just for example, if we took on an order for like 2,000 bags, like that would be insane, and we just aren't capable of producing that in a timely manner. Like we could just not take any other orders and get that one order. Then you'd have to negotiate contracts for getting paid up front, plus when you deliver, so that you're not just out all the money for your materials at the very beginning, because you're going to be in a negative the whole time if you're doing it that way.
Sorry about that, and sorry to anyone who heard that lovely conversation with Wes in the bathroom. I literally was having a conversation with him, and he looked at me and goes, "What's that?" Because he saw the microphone. I was like, that's a microphone.
Capabilities influencing pricing. Oh, I already asked that. You won't hear Gary Vee saying that. I think a lot of people push their capacity a little too early. So like if you're set up to, just say you can comfortably produce like 1,000 items per month, and then that's comfortable, and you can push that to 1,500. Like any manufacturer knows there's a sweet spot for your production. You can say you can do 2,000 units and 500 out of your capacity, but that doesn't mean you can. If you want that contract, and that's where you get into trouble, because you're not going to, your customer is going to be upset because you're not going to be able to actually do what you said you're going to do, and that's never good, especially in that situation, because there's already things that mess up production anyway, like machine downtime. Delays in materials, there's all sorts of things. So if that gets worse and worse and worse, you're just, you're never going to make that time back. So you have to be very honest about what you can create and produce in the time period you have. You don't have to answer this if it's too personal. I'll get ready.
I'm scared.
When paying yourselves from the company, do you pay hourly, salaried, non-exempt, salaried,
Sourly. You said sourly.
Salary, or from dividends, and if so, why? So we basically take an owner's draw, and that's like the most simple way to do it, I think, for us. We're not salary. We're not a C Corp, S Corp. There are some requirements around that, so you would have to pay yourself what is considered fair for your level, your job title. But we just take owner's draw, and that's what works for us. When we get to a point where we have employees and an outside space and in a different way, I imagine we're going to do salary. I think hourly is kind of odd, to be honest, because anyone who runs a small business knows that you're putting in the hours no matter what.
Yeah.
So
more than anyone else.
You probably couldn't pay yourself hourly if you wanted to. But yeah, you have to do what, these are all in the context of what your business can handle and what makes the most sense for them. And your CPA.
Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. But no, paying yourself is one of the hardest things, I think, for small businesses to do, because it's easy to not. Just to not.
Okay.
Not easy for life. Easy to say, make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
We don't need that. We don't need that. And you'll always be like, well, I can buy that tool instead.
That definitely happens.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to you about design stuff. So
Great. Someone really wants to be on our
it's
live.
every time. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Thanks for answering that. I want to get into leatherwork as a business in a few years, but paying myself is one of the things I know I'm going to struggle with. Yeah, so, I mean, our advice is always, like what we did was we kind of slow rolled into it. We didn't just both quit our jobs and go into this 100%. You build a foundation so that when you do take that leap, you're not just like scared. And you're not, you know, in trouble because I'm sure you have bills. And maybe you have a family. Or maybe you don't. But, yeah. Leanne wants to leave. She's over it.
No,
She wants to talk design.
I just, yeah. And I'm just like, I want to make progress.
I think he's... Sorry, Wes isn't feeling well, so
Yeah, it's been a
we should
rough one.
probably leave anyway. Yeah, so we're back from vacation. It's order week. Our Domestika course launched. Leanne's got a lot of work to do, and I'm just going to stare at the floor. It's okay. You don't want to hang out with us anymore. Yeah, it's just been...
We just got a lot going on.
Yeah. There he comes.
There's one other little thing
Well, honey,
I want you to cuddle me.
I know, but Mama's got a work to do, okay? Maybe Mama can cuddle you later.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you guys for your questions. Thanks for joining us.
But I'm really sick.
I know you are, honey. Do you want to sit down here? If you can be really, really quiet.
Well, so I'm going to come upstairs with you in a minute, bud.
Daddy's gonna come upstairs. I'll be there in a minute, okay? Go ahead.
Farewell.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Yes.
Save your questions. Or don't. Save them. I was going to try to turn it off from here because that's going to work. All right, see you guys next week.